burned out, exhausted, just by how the world is, with the economy, annoying people, politics, wars. How can we become re-inspired? I have found that it's not by withdrawing from the world, but by believing in the world, and by noticing that it is better than we think. The 19th century poet Edwin Martin said it really beautifully in his very famous epigram, Outwitted. He says, "He drew a circle to shut me out. Heretic, a rebel, a thing to flout, but love and I had the wit to win. We drew a circle and took him out." Once you draw your circle of awareness large enough to include all the good in the world, not just what annoys you, disappoints you, hurts you, or angers you, you notice that the good becomes a true inspiration. As I wrote in my book, unsurprisingly called "The World is Better Than We Think," in the 2000s, I did not have reason to believe that the world was good. The dot-com bubble had burst, and the little people who were hoping to share in the wealth lost their money. And the criminal behaviors of corporations like Enron came to light. It was really a bad time, and we heard about it all. And yet, I noticed living in Florida, the sun was still shining, and people were smiling at each other. They were loving their children, and I started to feel that our worldview had narrowed too much, so much so that it was imbalanced. And I wanted there to be balance again. And I came across Newton's third law of motion, which states that for every reaction there is an equal response. And I was wondering what might be the equal response to all the crap that was going on. So I started doing some research, and let me tell you, I came across a lot. And I'm just going to mention 3 things. First of all, one of the biggest corporations in the world, Nike, at that time, had developed a governing rule of how they're doing business in the third world to reduce the exploitation of the people that were working for them. McDonald's, that we like to beat up on for the food not being very nutritious, were the leader in changing how the chickens were fed and treated, and asked their suppliers to phase out antibiotics. And the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation was founded by Bill and Melinda with the goal to reduce global poverty and to raise global health. This once very cynical person, and I'm still a little cynical, it never goes away, discovered that the world is better than I thought. But that said, the world is always both. It's yin and yang, it's bad, it's good, light and dark. So, given that, let's include both in our attention. Let's be realistic, actually, instead of one-sided. Let's draw our circle of attention large enough to include the bad, to include the indifferent, but also to include the good. Now, we're all natural rubberneckers, and our attention is snatched by the bear. That's just how it works. That's how we survived. That's why we're here today, in part. So we have to make an effort to seek our good. becomes easier and easier to detect. How do you wish the world were? Think about that. You think peace is high on that list? Probably is. It is for me. Did you know that the last 70 years is the most peaceful time in our history? Why don't we know that? It's because for every generation, the current conditions become the new normal. And this is how the bar rises. The world you might envision already exists in some place, waiting for you to notice it. Every day, in uncountable interactions, we conduct ourselves with honor, with integrity, and in good faith. That's the truth. Everything that's happening here today is because we conduct ourselves with honor and in good faith. But it is up to you. Your inspiration is in your hands. Will you make the effort to notice the good? If you want to draw your attention and make a circle large enough to notice all the good. And when you do, you can draw inspiration from that when life annoys you. As you walk out these doors today, when you're done here, I hope you will do that. I hope you will draw your circle of attention so wide that you capture all the good.